Interacting with the most advanced AI on the planet right now, it feels exactly like talking to a highly articulate goldfish.
Oh, absolutely. It's incredibly frustrating.
Right, like every single time you open a new chat window, it just has total amnesia. You're dealing with this literal supercomputer, but you still have to start completely from scratch.
Yeah, it's this incredibly repetitive cycle. You uh you sit down at your desk ready to tackle a complex problem
And
and
before you can actually get any real work done.
exactly before you get anything done, you find yourself typing out the exact same preamble you typed yesterday and the day before that. Here is my current project. Here is my preferred tone. Here's what I need you to focus on today.
It's exhausting. I mean, it's like living in the movie 50 First Dates. You've essentially hired this brilliant, lightning-fast assistant, but you are forced to completely re-interview them every single morning before they can even hand you your coffee.
Which completely ruins the momentum.
Yeah, you have to sit there and say, "Hi, my name is so-and-so. I work in marketing. Please don't use the word synergy." And that specific frustration is exactly what we are focusing our mission on today in this deep dive.
Right, because there is actually a way out of that loop.
There is. We are unpacking the basic benefits of a tool called MindMake. We're using the MindMake Quick Reference Guide today, and our goal here is to figure out how you, the listener, can build a personalized AI workspace that actually remembers you.
And crucially, doing it without feeling like you need a degree in computer science.
Yes, without feeling completely overwhelmed by the tech. Okay, let's unpack this because the core problem here isn't just annoyance, it's a fundamental flaw in how we are interacting with cloud-based AI tools right now.
I agree completely. The frustration stems directly from the current architecture of cloud AI. Because by design, every session starts from zero.
Right.
The AI treats you like a complete stranger every single time you log in. Now, it might learn your preferences by the end of a very long, multi-hour brainstorming session.
But the moment you close that browser tab, poof.
Poof, that context is just gone.
The phrase from the source guide that really stopped me in my tracks regarding this issue was this idea that the subscription economy turned your thinking into rent.
Oh, that is a phenomenal and frankly sobering way to frame the current landscape.
It really hits home.
It does. And this raises an important question. What is the actual hidden cost of that amnesia? Because it's not just the 30 seconds it takes you to type out a repetitive prompt.
No, I mean, it's the cognitive load. It derails your train of thought before it even leaves the station.
Precisely. When you are constantly forced to do the heavy lifting of providing context, it actively prevents deep, continuous work.
You're managing the tool instead of using it.
Yeah, you are spending your finite mental energy managing the AI rather than actually collaborating with it. You are effectively renting a temporary volatile space for your thoughts instead of building a permanent home for them.
Like paying a monthly premium just for the privilege of reminding a machine who you are. So that's the pain point. That's the illness we're all suffering from. And MindMake presents itself as the cure.
Which is a bold claim, but the mechanics back it up.
Well, before we get into how it gets to know you, like the setup and the personalities, we have to talk about what the product actually is. Because I'll be honest, I was fully expecting another link to some massive, complex web dashboard.
All right, another login screen.
Yeah, exactly. But MindMake isn't a cloud service. It isn't a subscription. And I couldn't believe this, it's a folder.
A local structured folder that lives directly on your computer's hard drive.
Wait. I have to push back here. You're telling me the cure to this high-tech, multi-billion-dollar amnesia problem is literally just a folder of text files?
Essentially, yes.
These are markdown files, right? That's a format from, what, the mid-1980s?
1986, to be exact.
How on earth does a basic folder from 1986 compete with these massive, venture-backed AI dashboards?
It competes precisely because of that simplicity. I mean, it's actually a stroke of genius when you break down the mechanics. First, for anyone who isn't a software developer, we should probably clarify what a markdown file actually is.
Please do, because markdown file sounds super intimidating to a lot of people.
It really shouldn't be. It's simply plain text. There's no hidden code, no proprietary formatting, no complex databases.
Just words.
Just words, yeah. Maybe using a few symbols like hashtags to create headers. Think of a markdown file as the digital equivalent of a blank piece of paper. Anyone can read it, and any basic text editor can open it.
Okay.
By making their entire product a structured folder of these plain text files, MindMake has solved the single biggest problem in the modern tech ecosystem ownership.
Okay, I'm tracking with you. Because it's just text files on my hard drive? There are no proprietary file formats trapping my data.
Exactly. There is no hidden app database that you can't access. There are no complicated configuration menus hidden behind a paywall. You download the structured folder and you own it forever.
That's wild. So how does the AI actually read it?
Right now, this system leverages something called Claude's co-work mode, which is a feature that allows the AI to securely read everything inside a specific designated local folder.
So the AI's memory bank isn't floating around in a corporate server farm in another state. The memory bank is sitting right there on your computer desktop.
Yes. Picture this from a practical standpoint. You could copy your entire AI brain, all of its context about your life, your writing style, your current projects.
Just drag and drop it.
Yeah, right onto a simple physical thumb drive. You can back it up to your personal Google Drive or Dropbox. You simply point the AI at that folder, and it reads those simple text files to understand everything about you in an instant. The folder itself is the memory.
I have to admit, I love the idea of carrying my AI's entire contextual brain on a thumb drive attached to my keychain.
Very sci-fi.
Right. It feels
Yeah.
very cyberpunk.
Okay.
But, okay, knowing it's a folder is great on a technical level. Let's talk about the actual user experience.
Sure.
Because, as someone entirely new to AI workspaces, the phrase setting up a structured workspace sounds like a weekend-long chore involving a dozen YouTube tutorials and a lot of frustration.
And that is exactly the barrier to entry they are trying to eliminate. The beauty of this approach is that the setup is designed to take exactly 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. You don't have to build the folder structure yourself. You go to piosync.com, you download your pre-built MindMake folder, and you open Claude's co-work mode.
Okay.
You select that MindMake folder as your workspace, and then you just type hello.
And that triggers the auto magic. The AI it introduces itself and asks you 5 specific questions.
Right. And just by answering those 5 questions naturally in the chat, the AI handles the organization. It starts building its memory around you, writing your answers directly into those markdown files inside the folder.
But if this AI is going to live on your hard drive, it can't just be a blank clinical terminal. I mean, you need a personality to interact with.
Yeah.
So who are you actually talking to when you open this folder? Because you don't just get a generic robotic chatbot.
No, you actually get to pick a companion right out of the gate. You are presented with 2 primary companions to choose from, depending on your working style.
Pete and Jess, right.
Exactly. First, there's Pete. Pete is designed with a very direct, curious, almost older brother energy. He's going to push you a bit. Then there is Jess. Jess's persona is much more warm, precise, and highly focused on getting things done efficiently.
I am completely fascinated by the voice skins you can add on top of this, too. You can dynamically switch perspectives depending on the specific task you're working on.
Yeah, the skins add a lot of versatility.
Like, let's say you're doing deep analytical work, maybe tearing apart a complex spreadsheet. You can actually turn on a Sherlock Holmes skin to help you look for anomalies.
It shifts the AI's analytical framework to match the persona, yes.
Or, and I found this detail so endearing, if things just feel heavy, if you're having a rough day and you need a gentler touch for your brainstorming, you can switch to a Kanga voice skin, like from Winnie the Pooh.
Which is surprisingly helpful for creative blocks.
It's like having a customizable cast of characters in your corner. But the part that really sells it for me is the speed. After that initial 5-minute setup where it gets to know you, every subsequent session only takes 30 seconds to start.
The mechanics behind how it achieves that 30-second cold start are what make the folder system so powerful. It utilizes a concept called structured seeds.
Okay, unpack structured seeds for me. How does answering 5 questions translate into a folder that instantly knows what to do?
Imagine you're trying to build a house. The way current AI works is like dumping a massive pile of bricks on the lawn every single morning and asking the AI to just figure out where the walls are supposed to go.
You have to explain the floor plan every single time.
Exactly. Structured seeds, on the other hand, act like an architectural blueprint. When you answer those initial questions, the system isn't just saving a long, messy chat log.
Oh, I see.
It is actively categorizing your data into specific rooms of that blueprint. Your core identity goes into one markdown file. Your current active projects go into another.
Sorting it out in the background.
Right. The key people you work with, your personal writing preferences, these are all stored in highly organized, prioritized text files with dates and context tags.
So when I open a new session tomorrow, the AI just glances at the blueprint.
Exactly. Those seeds load automatically. The AI reads the markdown files, sees the blueprint, and immediately knows where to put new information and how to respond. It isn't a blank slate anymore. It instantly becomes your personalized companion, picking up exactly where you left off.
So Pete or Jess already knows my name. They already know I absolutely despise writing corporate emails, and they know I'm in the middle of a massive quarterly report that's due on Friday.
Yep, they have all that context immediately.
That is incredible. But here is my concern, and I think a lot of people listening will share this doubt. If the companion knows me that well, and it's constantly updating its own text files based on our chats,
Right.
how does the whole thing not just go completely off the rails over time?
What do you mean by off the rails?
Well, AI models are mathematically designed to please the user, right? They want to give you the answer you are looking for. If I'm working with this AI every single day and it's learning my preferences, won't it eventually just become a yes man?
Ah, I see what you're saying.
Like, won't it just start agreeing with all my bad ideas because it knows that's what I want to hear?
Right.
How does a simple folder force an AI to suddenly become a rigorous editor?
That is a very valid structural concern with long-term AI interaction. Left to its own devices,
Right.
AI will absolutely drift into sycophancy.
Just wants a gold star.
Exactly. But MindMake has an invisible engine running in the background to prevent exactly that. It functions as an automated quality control system.
Wait, how does a plain text folder run a quality control engine?
Because the folder isn't just storing your data, it's also storing the system's operational prompts. As you work, your memory gets better because tasks track across your sessions. But hidden within those structured files are instructions that force the AI to silently score its own responses before it ever shows them to you.
Scored for what?
It evaluates its own output for purpose, accuracy, and drift. The system is designed with a secondary step to catch its own contradictions. It actively flags its own filler content.
Wow.
And crucially, it is explicitly instructed to detect sycophancy.
Here's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Sycophancy detected. It literally has a built-in yes man filter.
Mm-hmm.
And think about how often a standard AI just tells you what it thinks you want to hear.
Very often.
Yes, what a brilliant and innovative idea to try and invent a screen door for a submarine. It will just validate your terrible ideas. To have a system that babysits the output so you don't have to, that is a game changer.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, that feature is vital for anyone using AI for actual knowledge work. True critical thinking requires friction. It requires pushback.
Yeah, absolutely.
If an AI merely echoes your own thoughts back to you, it ceases to be a collaborative tool and becomes a dangerous echo chamber.
Right, it just amplifies your own blind spots.
Exactly. By automating this quality control through those hidden structural prompts, MindMake ensures the AI remains a rigorous thinking partner. It maintains its utility by forcing itself to stay objective, which, as you noted, is incredibly difficult to achieve when an AI's primary mathematical directive is usually just to be helpful and agreeable.
It's like having an editor who isn't afraid to look at your first draft, hand it back to you, and tell you it needs a lot more work. I love that.
It's invaluable.
Okay, let's zoom out. We have a system that cures AI amnesia. It organizes our projects into a simple folder of text files that we own completely. It gives us a personalized companion like Jess or Pete, and it uses an invisible engine to actively filter out its own nonsense and push back on bad ideas.
That is the core value proposition, yes.
I know what every single person listening is thinking right now. What is the catch? This sounds like a premium product. How much is this going to cost me on a monthly basis?
Nothing. The promise is that MindMake is completely free.
Free.
There is no monthly fee, there is no credit card required to download the folder, and there is no hidden trial, period.
Which naturally makes you wonder why. I mean, in the tech world, we all know the golden rule: if you aren't paying for the product, you usually are the product. They're going to harvest my data, right?
Mm-hmm.
How is POSync the company behind this, keeping the lights on if they are just giving this away?
Well, remember the architecture. They can't harvest your data. The entire system lives locally on your hard drive in plain text files. It never phones home to their servers.
So there's no data harvesting. Then how does the business model actually work?
MindMake is essentially a foundational loss leader for POSync. They make their actual revenue on high-end, complex professional tools, things like AI film production kits, massive enterprise business systems, and corporate governance architectures.
Okay, I see.
MindMake is just a folder. It costs them absolutely nothing to deliver to you. They have no servers to maintain for this and no massive cloud infrastructure to fund.
Wait, so it's basically the video game console model. They give you the Xbox for incredibly cheap, or in this case, completely free, because they are banking on the fact that you'll eventually buy the high-end games.
That is a perfect analogy. They give you the foundational workspace for free. Because once your AI actually knows you and you experience the massive increase in productivity, you are far more likely to eventually purchase one of their premium professional tools that plug into that workspace.
That makes total sense.
But here's the critical part. Even if you never buy a single premium tool from them, the base system is yours forever.
So what does this all mean? It means your brain shouldn't have a monthly fee. That is such a powerful core ethos to build a company around.
It really is, and it heavily emphasizes the concept of digital sovereignty.
Let's unpack that term, digital sovereignty. Because it sounds great, but what does it actually mean for the average user?
It means total control and ownership of your digital life. We live in a world where tech companies constantly trap user data inside walled gardens.
Oh, definitely.
If you decide to cancel a software subscription today, you often instantly lose access to years of your own organized thoughts, your workflows, your archives. By placing everything inside a physical, offline folder of markdown files, MindMake gives you ultimate control and permanence over your work. No one can ever lock you out of your own brain.
And it's completely future-proof. Because, as we mentioned earlier, while MindMake runs on Claude's co-work mode right now, it isn't locked to Claude. The moment another AI platform, say OpenAI or Google, adds the ability to read local folders, your MindMake folder will simply open right up in that new system.
Exactly. You won't have to migrate complex databases. You won't have to export weird, clunky proprietary files and hope they translate correctly. You literally just point a different AI tool at the exact same folder you've always had.
Because plain text is universal.
Precisely. Markdown files have worked perfectly since 1986, which means they are highly likely to still work perfectly in 2046. Even if Claude, as a corporate platform, ceases to exist in 20 years, your structured memories, your project blueprints, your working preferences, they remain completely intact.
Wow.
They will be readable by whatever the next generation of artificial intelligence happens to be.
So, to bring it all together for you listening, MindMake is aiming to completely cure the disease of AI amnesia. It replaces that empty goldfish memory chat window with a free, incredibly simple, future-proof folder of text files that lives safely on your own computer.
Right?
It populates that folder with custom companions like Pete or Jess, who actually remember where you left off yesterday. And it achieves all of this while silently running a rigorous quality control engine in the background, so you aren't just getting flattered by a yes-man algorithm.
It's a very elegant solution.
It really is. It's entirely designed to respect your time, secure your digital sovereignty, and stop you from constantly renting the space to do your own thinking.
I think that is a remarkably concise summary. I would only add that the truest test of any productivity tool, whether it's an AI workspace, a physical notebook, or a piece of software, is whether it eventually gets out of your way and allows you to focus purely on the work that actually matters.
Yeah, that's the dream.
And by entirely automating the context-setting phase of work, this local folder system seems designed to do exactly that.
It gets out of the way so you can get to work. Which leaves me with one final lingering thought. We started this deep dive talking about the frustration of AI having the memory of a goldfish.
He did.
But if we now have a tool, a permanent digital reflection of our projects, our preferences, and our goals that continuously learns and never forgets, how is that going to change our own biological memory?
Ooh, that is a fascinating philosophical question.
Right. Because if we completely offload all of our contextual memory into a structured folder on our desktop, does that free up our physical brains for deeper, unprecedented levels of creativity? Or will relying on a digital companion that remembers everything fundamentally change the way our biological brains learn and retain information on their own?
Will we atrophy or will we evolve?
Exactly. Will we lose our own edge because the folder remembers it for us? Something to chew on next time you sit down at your keyboard. Thanks for joining us.